This discourse is for intellectuals who are open to change their thinking process when presented with information that contradicts their beliefs. The topic is sensitive and contentious. The topic revolves around religion, God, belief system, false narratives, abuse, and the truth. I am not going to say anything new, just reiterating few things. And people who are adamant that they know all the answers because some book says so, they can simply skip away. Else, I will end up hurting your feelings. No one knows the purpose of this existence, why we are here, who are we, where did we come from, where are we going. No one knows. Man have been trying to find God from the dawn of time. And somehow, all religions based on transcendent and immanent gods claim to have answers to these questions. To study further, I have divided the following discourse into 4 small parts. First, religious people. 50% of the religious population believe in the Abrahamic monotheistic God. Jews, Christians, Muslims, and another 100-200 subsects from these 3. Jews are still waiting for the Messiah to bring peace upon earth, to restore the temple of Jerusalem, and to build the kingdom of heaven. Christians conclude that Jesus of Nazareth is the Messiah prophesied in their scriptures. Muslims, neither do they believe Jesus as God, nor Jesus as Son of God, nor the Messiah, but a prophet. So this paternal, authoritarian, always monitoring, where angels will have to sing praises day and night, this is a man-made concept. If you look at the pattern, we have king, we have his hair, prince, wise men, ministers, soldiers, and the peasants. The same thing can be observed. We have God, and then the Son of God, the archangels, the prophets, priests, and the normal people. This hierarchical concept is the result of a limited human brain, because human brain can comprehend only such structures. That is the best the human brain can come up with. There are other types of religions where they don't believe in a one-man show. There is no supreme or one God. They believe that there is no distinction between the creator and the creation. For them, nature is the manifestation of the divine. They are called pantheistics. And point number 2, we have atheists. There are different types of atheists. I'll only talk about a couple of them. The normal, basic, implicit atheists who simply deny that there is no God, because the people who claim there is God fail to provide the evidence. In much simpler terms, so the religious people say that there is God, and he says, atheists say, show me the evidence. They fail to show the evidence, and he simply rejects them. There is another type of atheists, explicit atheists. They assert that there is no God because there is no evidence. There is no evidence of his existence. So they simply confirm that there is no God. But then they stop right there. They don't do any further exploration. On one hand, we have people without any exploration. They simply say that there is God based on a book. And then we have atheists who simply say there is no God because you can't prove it. There is no more self-exploration. Point number 3. Throughout the course of history, we hear some names, some enlightened beings. Their story go parallelly along with these religious story. Some, they deviate from the existing religion and create another one, or some enhance or create a sub-part of the existing religion. Some examples are Lao Tzu, Gautama Buddha, Mahavir, Jesus, Nanak, Mansur al-Hallaj, Jalal ad-Din Muhammad Rumi, Paramahamsa Yogananda, J.K. Murthy, Osho, Rajneesh. There are too many people. What is the need of these enlightened beings when we already have established religions in place? What's the need for them to deviate from the existing religion, an established existing religion? After all, they worship the same God. Now, before I answer this question, there is something I want to talk about. I want to talk about how our belief system has evolved throughout the course of mankind. Our ancestors believed in anything and everything. It could be due to lack of science, lack of explanation available around. They believed in anything and everything. I'll give you a few examples. If anybody saw the lightning and thunder, they believed the gods were having some conflict above in the skies. Some believed the god Thor from Norse mythology is showing his wrath on the people. The Aztecs, they believed in human sacrifice. They sacrificed humans at the end of the summers with an intention that sun will return in the following season. And if there was any delay in the next summer, they would go on sacrificing until they feel the sun god is pleased. Virgin sacrifice, some sexual rituals for fertility. Tsunami, it is the god Poseidon showing his anger on the people. But science have a better explanation. They simply say that there is earthquake under the waterbeds. Diseases, they simply said they were curses. If anybody got chickenpox, they would be sent into exile. They would be outcast because it was a curse. And if it was the baby who got the chickenpox, they would simply point the fingers to the parents. They simply say the parents, because the parents' bad doings or the wrongdoings, the curse was sent down to the baby. For that matter, my grandmother, she believed everything in YouTube was something approved, authorized. So these things demonstrate that not all our ancestral beliefs made any sense. They are not true. The point I would like to emphasize here is there is nothing sacred in their beliefs. I would like to establish something here. We live in an utterly realistic world. We don't live in a fairy, magical world where things appear and disappear like they show in the movies. No. All the so-called gods or the sons of gods or the incarnations of God who walked on this earth were simply human. But there was something different. They were enlightened. A virgin cannot conceive. A virgin cannot give birth without sexual intercourse or artificial insemination. It's against the laws of the nature. Ask your women, your mothers, your sisters, your friends, see if they say otherwise. Would a man take a woman if she says that she's pregnant through divine intervention? You will not take it because you know that's impossible. Some intelligent Christians will agree that yes, this is not possible, but it's only possible in the matter of Christ because the book says so. If that's your selling point, I'm not impressed, because this same story you can hear way before Jesus Christ. According to Hindu mythology, Lord Krishna is born to a virgin Devaki. They say that some other god takes the form of this Krishna. Egyptian mythology, Horus, he is born to virgin Isis. Siddhartha Gautama is born to Queen Maya. The story goes on that she had some dream. The other version is like she had some divine intervention. And then the same story goes here. So the problem is, Christians read the book believing that to be some special or holy book already. But that's a wrong approach. If you really want to find the truth, then you read the book just as the book and see if there is anything holy about it. That's the right approach, because if the book is telling you the truth, then we don't have to advertise that this is a holy book. So what happened was, Jesus is a man. He was a human being, but an enlightened one. He was filled with grace, compassion, love, forgiveness, kindness, spirituality, a rebellious, a man who did not bend the knee because everybody was saying so. He was a man who opposed the government that was existing. Jesus saw the atrocities being orchestrated under the name of God, and he stood against it. If a man picked up sticks on a Sabbath day, they would stone him to death under the law of Moses, which is given by the God. If a woman was caught under the act of adultery, she should be stoned to death under the law of Moses, which is given by the gods. Even in India, a widow should go and die along with the deceased husband, and it's cremation. She'll have to go and sit in the fires according to their laws, according to their religion. I thought there would be some exception to the woman if she had some children, but no. She would still have to go and burn alive to show the devotion and loyalty. History is filled with all such wrongdoings under the name of God, and Jesus stood against it. For them, they are the chosen people, so God has some favoritism towards them. They are the chosen tribe by the God. God promised them land. The rest cannot attend the synagogues because they were not the right blood or the right lineage. Then Jesus, he made God available to everyone. If you look at the stories, Jesus lived closely with lepers, with beggars, with people who were outcast. He made God available to everyone. And that is a problem to an establishment. That is a really big problem to an establishment. So they came up with a plan, took him out. After his crucifixion, the Bible was released in the 4th century, 400 AD. So what happened until then? The scholars, they gathered, they made Jesus a special born. They gave him some special powers, like walking on the water. They made people believe that he is some special born, not of the world. And they made him the Son of God so that no other disturbance can happen. So no new man, no new enlightened man can come up and speak anything of the divine. They finalized the books. They've eliminated the books that they didn't like. They have chosen few canonical books, finalized, closed the books, and said, this is the Holy Bible. And that is the book that we are all holding and believing it to be something absolutely divine. So what really happened in the background is the power shifted. The power from here to all the Christian side, all the Jesus. It became a pivotal point. Even after Christ's death, after a few thousands of years, Catholics, they sold indulgences. It's something you go to a priest, you buy your forgiveness for money. To be more precise, it's you buy your time off in the purgatory. So you spend some time in the purgatory before going to heaven based on the sins that you do. If you go and pay some money, you can buy some time off the purgatory. And if you are rich enough, all your sins can be forgiven because you pay the money. And people believed, people worked hard, saved the money, they gave it to the priests. Simony, you buy spirituality, you buy the position in the Catholic churches. Nepotism, I don't think I even have to say about nepotism. And then the new era started. Second coming of Christ. If any man who's looking at the skies, waiting for Christ, he will wait until the end of time. If Jesus Christ comes back, it will be Christians who will crucify him, not Jews. Because that's exactly what happened when Jesus came for the first time. And if Jesus comes for the second time, all the Christians will gather and kill him, stone him, or even crucify him, because their scriptures, because their simple, a small book says, the second coming of Jesus is going to be glorious. It's going to be a glorious event with all the trumpets, all the angels coming down in a slow motion from the skies. And all the Christians, sadly, still believe in this fantasies that sky is one day going to tear up and people are going to come down in a slow motion. When a man is enlightened, he is entitled to say that he is Christ. If he's born in a Christian family, he will end up saying he is Christ. If he's born in a Hindu family, he will end up say he is Shiva or Krishna or Rama. If you're born somewhere in the northeast, you will simply say you are Buddha. Because these are the characteristics of a person being enlightened. Speaking about enlightenment, there is a big stereotype. For someone to be enlightened, he will have to abandon his family, leave all the family ties, leave all the materialistic things, get an orange robe, go to Himalayas or get into some isolation, and then become enlightened. Dedicate your life. No. This is a false narrative. So let me shorthand what is enlightenment. Any man who practices meditation for a long time, there will be a point where he will experience death for a few seconds. He will see a light. That few seconds will change the perception of everything that we live. It will give you a vibrant clarity, a cosmic awareness, where you feel a deeper connection towards the nature, a deeper connection towards the living, and you understand what is oneself. That is all there is. You don't get any spiritual, any magical powers to levitate. You don't get any magical power to turn the water into wine. We live in an utterly realistic world. For all the sympathizers of the Christ, you should hear the story of Mansur al-Hallaj from Baghdad, a Muslim who had this colossal experience or enlightenment. Right after that moment, he simply started saying, I am the truth, an al-Haq, which is against Quran. He was martyred. There are multiple versions of his death. Some people say they amputated him part by part, and yet he was still saying an al-Haq, I am the truth, I am the truth. His teacher, Junaid, asked him to stop at least at the end of his life. He never stopped. He simply said, it's not me who's telling this, it's the divine in him. I would like to bring up about an enlightened being, Paramahamsa Yogananda. He consciously left his body while everyone were looking at him. I don't see any point in it. If leaving the body is the ultimate goal, then we all can simply die. No. We should not escape from reality. As a father hands down his inheritance to the children, we were handed down the same stupidity. I would like to admit that I believe in my religion because I was born into it. I was recruited at a very young age under subjugation. We are not born into sin. There is nothing to repent. We are born out of God, like a fruit comes out of a tree. We don't need any book, any preacher in the middle. If God really wants to talk to anybody, he will talk to that individual directly. Any man who is seeking the truth will abandon his religion at some point. And if a man is religious for a long time, that means he's not seeking the truth. He simply wants to be socially acceptable. The Christ is really born when the man says that I am the light, I am the truth, and I am the way. Not him somewhere who is on the top. Not someone else. Not Jesus, not anybody else. We were told not to question, not to doubt. It says, blessed is the man who do not doubt and yet believe. Eat the apple. Ask a million questions to your preachers. There is no wrong question. Ask him, squeeze him. He is in the position where he is supposed to answer, and you are supposed to question him. Do not stop at the church. Do not stop at a book. Do not stop at being atheist. 99% of all the wars in the history and the wars that are happening currently, religion is the root cause. On the top, it might look bad politicians, corruption. No. But the deep down, the root cause of all the wars is religion. Our parents' time is up. Now we are the parents. And we should not be the stupid ancestors who believed in anything and everything. The first and the foremost thing to do is stop planting the seed of religion in our kids. And if they ask any question, we have to be honest and say, I don't know. And it's their responsibility to explore. I thank everyone who made it this far. With the divine light within us, I take my leave.